One, two, one, two. How's it sound? Good? Okay.
Welcome, graduates, families, friends, faculty, and staff, to the University of Washington Tacoma's 2025 Master of Science in Accounting hooding ceremony. My name is Karen Jans, and I'm the interim director of the MS Accounting program in the Accounting Hub this year. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Tripathi for the countless opportunities he gave me to learn all there was to know about being a program director. Thank you for making my transition to this position easier. To our graduates, I am honored to be with you today. I have known each of you since the day you first submitted your application. I have given many of you advice over the course of the program, and I'm going to give you some more today. I've learned many of your life stories. And as I look at you today, the one thing I want you to take with you starts with a children's story. Those of you who know me know that I love books, all kinds of books, but some of my favorite are children's books because they help me look at life through a different lens. One of my favorite children's books is The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. It's about a stuffed rabbit who yearns to be a real rabbit. He wants to go out and play with the rabbits he sees in the field. He makes a good friend called the Skin Horse, who's been well-loved and is shabby and worn. I think many of us have a toy like that. I know I do. Mine is a bear. In fact, I still have him. He has seen me through many, many difficult things in my life, and I still talk to him occasionally when faced with a very difficult decision because he acts as my conscience. At the beginning of The Velveteen Rabbit, the rabbit asks the Skin Horse what real is, and the Skin Horse tells him, it doesn't happen all at once. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen to people who break easily or have sharp edges or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been lived off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very, very shabby. Over the course of the book, the boy loves the rabbit so hard that his whiskers come out, the pink lining in his ears turns gray, and his brown spots are faded. He even begins to lose his shape. But he scarcely looks like a rabbit anymore at this point, but he doesn't really care because the boy loves him, and that's all that matters. Today, we would call becoming real, becoming our authentic self. I think we can think of someone who is authentically themselves. When I think of these people in my life, they share common traits. They are people who live their lives in alignment with their values and their genuine feelings. They celebrate their strengths. They accept their weaknesses and aren't afraid to share themselves with others. These characteristics develop in them resiliency and enable them to move forward with confidence, knowing they can bounce back from setbacks. It makes them strong. I also notice they are less judgmental of others. They are people who are surrounded by friends and family during times of struggle, like illness or old age. I see that lived out daily when I go to visit my mother in her senior living complex. I see their people aren't valued for their careers, their money, or how much power they held during their lives. They are judged and valued for their compassion and heart. I believe these people are I believe that these are the people who have had the richest life and, like the rabbit in our story, become real. As you leave here, I know you will all be successful. During your time, you have overcome many struggles, such as adjusting to a new culture, juggling family responsibilities, worrying about financial concerns, just to name a few. And you have persevered and conquered all of them to reach this moment. You have proven you have it in you to reach your goals. As you take on this next chapter in your life, I challenge each of you to move forward, living a life that aligns with your values and genuine feeling. Because if you do, you will become one of the very lucky people who discover the joy of being their authentic self and live a life full of love and laughter. I know each of you is up to the challenge because, to quote Winnie the Pooh and A.A. Milne, you are stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you will ever know. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Dean Merchant. I have known Dean Merchant for almost 10 years. I was fortunate to have him as a professor in my MBA program here at UW-T. He gave me my first opportunity to teach at the Milgard School, advertising. For you accountants, just know that you can be more than accountants. And that ultimately led me to being here before you today. Please welcome Dean Merchant.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Milgard School of Business, welcome to our hooding ceremony. My hearty congratulations to our students on this very important occasion. My greetings to the families, friends, and loved ones who have supported our students during their academic pursuits. Students, you have worked hard. It's now time to take a bow and celebrate. This marks the end of one journey and start of another one. You start your new journey armed with the latest knowledge and a strong education. What we hear from our corporate partners is that Milgard students live by values of hard work, tenacity, integrity, and flexibility to change with circumstances and realities. A huge thank you to our faculty and staff in the accounting program who toil daily in the service of our students. A little bit about this batch. This has been a really special batch of the MS Accounting program. 60 students are graduating today from 7 countries. The best part of this is that 84% of our graduating students already have jobs. And these are not low-paying jobs. These are good jobs. The salary ranges between $75,000 a year to $100,000 a year. That makes me so proud. You know, as faculty and administrators and staff, we work, we come to work, we do all that we can, and academic career is a choice. We can easily be in the corporate world. But we choose this because we want to contribute to the next generation, to do something purposeful and meaningful. And when we hear stories such as these, where students have been so successful, it makes us very, very proud. So well done. So a little bit about our students. They've studied hard, but beyond that, they have participated in VITA with a total of 290 tax returns that have been filed. About $500,000 of tax dollars have come back into our economy and into our community. Our accounting students participated in SAP competitions, served as tutors, mentors, accounting association leaders, and so much more. The accounting program, earlier under the leadership of Professor Tripathi and now with Karen as the leader, continues its trajectory of innovation. This summer, again, our students will be going to London to study ESG. Moving to Milgard Hall has given us wings for innovations and excellence. Some of the innovations that we have been doing include, of course, the first-based STEM program, which you are graduating in accounting. We have an AI lab, a trading room with Bloomberg data, programs on financial literacy, a new student-managed investment fund, Entrepreneurship Academy, a distinction program, a new program in supply chain and world trade, and classes in sports management and purposeful leadership. As you may see, there is a lot going on in the business school. I urge our graduating students to connect with us. Come back. Come back as speakers, advocates, adjunct professors, advisory board members. Connect with us. Help us build the school. The school needs your help to continue making it a destination program. I usually like to end these ceremonies with an inspirational quote. And for the last, I would say, 8 years, I've been citing various quotes of Teddy Roosevelt. And this year I've got a new one, and I'm very inspired by it. I think it really means a lot to me. I read the same quote in a recent event we had right out here with about 200 business leaders. And I think it really captures the essence and the spirit of American values. I hope it will inspire you as well. So Teddy Roosevelt says, "We must dare to be great, and we must realize that greatness is the fruit of toil and sacrifice and high courage." So I urge our graduates to be courageous business leaders, to be ethical business leaders, and change the world. Onward and forward. Go Huskies!
Thank you, Dean Merchant, and welcome everybody. My name is Gary Veers. I'm an associate teaching professor in the MS Accounting program. I am also an alumni of the program, the 2013 initial graduating class. I was part of that, and so I definitely know the commitment and rigor and long hours it takes to complete this. So congratulations right off the bat to all of my students and all of the faculty students. You guys have done a great job. I'm so proud of you to be here at this moment. All right, well, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Erin Galeno is the Chief Financial and Administrative Officer for the Port of Tacoma. Ms. Galeno has been the Port of Tacoma Chief Financial and Administrative Officer since 2009. In this role, she oversees the organization's accounting and treasury, contracting, security, and compliance functions. Prior to her role at the port, she spent 23 years with Weyerhaeuser Company, serving in several roles, including Director of Internal Audit, the finance lead for a major system implementation, and as the controller for the corporate support functions. Erin holds a bachelor's degree with an accounting emphasis and a minor in economics from University of Puget Sound, and as a graduate of Seattle University's Executive Leadership Program, she's a licensed CPA. She is current chair for the Chancellor's Advisory Board here at UW-Tacoma, chairs the board for the Tacoma Refugee Choir, and is a member of the Milgard Executive Council. She is a past member and two-time chair of the South Puget Sound American Red Cross Board. Erin and her husband Paul live in Auburn and have 2 grown children who reside and work in Southwest Washington. Let's give a big UW-Tacoma welcome to Ms. Erin Galeno.
I think I did the same thing at my high school graduation. If you didn't see, I caught my sleeve on the chair there. Welcome. I want to thank Dean Merchant and Director Jantz and all the students and their families, both here and the families that are watching, the people who were not able to be with us today, but with technology, they have the opportunity to be present in this moment. I'm really, truly humbled by this opportunity and a little terrified, but I'm actually mostly relieved because I'm speaking before the students. Because I have to tell you, every time a student gets up and speaks, I am absolutely blown away. So thank you for that. When I was first asked for this, to come here and speak before you, I said to my husband about the invitation. He said, "Well, what are you going to say?" I said, "Well, I think I'm going to say yes." And he goes, "No, what are you going to say?" And I paused, and I said, "Well, I think I'm just going to get to yes." So I start with buy into the power of saying yes. All of you said yes to University of Washington, Tacoma, and the city of Tacoma, and there's a reason it's called the City of Destiny. You said yes to a profession that's going to give you a living wage earning. You said yes to a school that is deeply committed to serving students, creating financial literacy, and providing graduates who are ready to work in this community. Although I did talk to a couple of folks, and I think some of you are going to other areas, but again, Tacoma is the place to be. The next thing I would say to you is, don't take yourself so seriously. You know, as I thought about what's the purpose? Why have a keynote speaker here at an event like this? So, you know, I did what any of us would do today. I Googled it. And it went on to say that it's about providing inspiration, guidance, valuable career advice. Keynote speakers can make the event more memorable or special and set the tone. So I'm like, okay, there's no pressure. So I really just leaned back on what my mom said. She said, make it funny. Laughter, it has the power to heal or to hurt. And I encourage you to know the difference. Laughing at yourself can break down barriers. And I remember a time when I started at the Port of Tacoma. There were a number of situations where there were some really exciting, not so clear things going on, and people were getting very anxious and amped up. And I would look at them and I'd say, okay, interesting. And all of a sudden, that one word magically diffused everything. And then we said, okay, let's get down to business and figure out how to fix it. And later on, as we started to kind of work together, we laughed about that. But that word interesting was incredibly powerful. The other thing I would say to you, don't sprint the marathon. And in my bio, you heard I was on a major IT implementation, and that was a term we used frequently because the pace is really important. It needs to be sustainable. And each of you has done so much to get to this point. It's so amazing. But you have a long and wonderful opportunity and careers ahead of you. And so, again, don't sprint the marathon. Take the time to celebrate moments in your achievements right here, right now. It took great courage, and many of you heard have come from other countries. Many of you have come from places where women don't necessarily have the same opportunities they have here. And that is exciting to see you here and what you can do with that. I think my part of my success has been the commitment to find and create better processes. Look at more predictable ways to do work. You know, too often we recognize people for fighting fires, but that's not sustainable. Take the time and thank people for doing a job well done. And in our profession, and we all know, and you're all my people, so you know part of doing our job well means nobody's talking about us. It's kind of like a good umpire in a baseball game. At the end, if nobody's talking about them, they did a really good job. Part of our job is really to make sure that nobody's talking about us. That's really important part. But that also means sometimes we're not getting the recognition that we deserve. So remember to recognize people. Remember to recognizing them for doing their job well. Don't let others define your limits. Now, I am a woman in an executive leadership role. And oftentimes, the narrative around women is they can't make the tough decisions. Or they don't have the ability to be warm and inviting. They're cold, they're ruthless. Well, somehow I managed to rewrite that script. I broke down barriers by leaning into my unique traits. But I'll tell you, I was the first to tell you that I never imagined that I would be a CFO of a major West Coast port authority or the chair of the Chancellor's Advisory Board for UW-Tacoma. But my parents played a huge role in the development and never made me think that I had limits. Everything was possible. And that's a huge fate. And one of the things I think is important in terms of shaping my life is their stories around when they were married in the early 60s. My mother lost her job. She was a stewardess. And at that time, airlines could fire women simply for getting married. So, as I started to grow, I think that really impacted and shaped their ability to open up the possibilities for me. When I wanted to play baseball and girls weren't allowed to play Little League, my mom found me a softball team. When I decided that I wanted to go to a liberal arts university to get an accounting degree and become a CPA, they have provided the resources for me to attend the University of Puget Sound. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer at 58, he showed me that you take on anything that life throws at you, and you do it with courage. And when he got bad news, he would call and he would say, "I'm still in the hunt." He did that for 25 years. So it's pretty hard to say that things are not, everything is possible. And then my mom, at 78, decided that a college degree was something that she needed to accomplish. And shortly after her 81st birthday, she sat in her graduation for her, and instead of giving herself a graduation gift, after seeing students that were working all night and going to class, or sitting in the parking lot because doing their homework because that was the only place that they had access to Wi-Fi, she chose to set up a scholarship for those students. So what I want to continue to convey to you is, even with the wonderful head start that I had, I struggled early on. So remember that. It's okay to struggle. I was perceived as too loud. I had too much energy. I asked too many questions. But instead of minimizing these traits, I leaned into them and I found my superpower. I had the talent for seeing other people's strengths and solving problems. And honestly, when you pair that with the education and training you have, you are limitless. Now, I think there were probably a couple early warning signs because evidently my kindergarten teacher told my mom I had had too much preschool because I was trying to run the class. But when I was in your situation, now my situation was I'm old enough, I didn't need a fifth year to sit for the exam. But I really hadn't looked at anything other than the major accounting firms. But when I got to that point, I realized that the accounting firms actually weren't very interested in me. I had made the most of my college education. I had played fast pitch. I had been a TA. But my grades were acceptable, but not outstanding. So all of a sudden, I found myself with no backup plan. And I think that's when I started to really understand, the value of a plan, especially a backup plan. And I think Althoff said 86% of you have jobs, which is fabulous. If you're still looking, it's out there. You have the opportunity and the possibilities are there. This is a foundation that you can take to anything you want to do. So I thought about what do I want to do. And what I ended up doing was actually stepping into an internship at Weyerhaeuser Company in their internal audit department. You see, at the time, I actually didn't have the minimum requirements because I didn't have a computer science minor. So, great. I took this internship. They took a chance on me. They said yes to me. I started to rewrite the script. But again, I think there were times I still challenged to understand how do I move forward with these amazing gifts that I have and really continue to grow them and continue to be myself, and you heard authentic self. I think that's so important to think about. So I sought out mentors. I sought out leaders that would be honest with me, that would challenge me to become my best self. I invested in understanding different thinking styles. I invested in thinking about different thinking styles. If there is one thing, and I'm going to come at the end, I'll tell you more than one thing, but there's one thing I want you to take away. Understand how you think and how others think. It is absolutely powerful. I started to balance my curiosity while understanding kind of how to meet my deliverables, kind of how to balance that work. And more importantly, I really developed my ability to help others achieve their potential. What I really did was I focused on being the most perceptive person in the room rather than the smartest. Now, developing your technical skills, and I know most, although somebody said all of you are sitting for the CPA exam, so right on. That will never, that's the gravel on the path. That is the opportunity. It opens the doors. So continuing your technical education is critical. That's what you guys have invested in. That's what you're doing. Continue to do that. However, it's the soft skills that will ultimately shape your life and how you experience it. I remember talking to my daughter one time when she was having a conflict with a teacher, and I was trying to help her understand his perspective. Sometimes trying to take things from work at home, you know, but she looked at me, she said, "You never take my side." And I said to her, "I may not take your side, but I'm on your side." And she came to understand that a couple years later. And that's what I would share with you, is really understand not just your perspective, but others' perspective and how that impacts you. Make investments that matter. Make your investments in people, in community, in your family, but most importantly, in yourself. Some of you I know were running in here, were frazzled. Some of you weren't sure you wanted to be here. Hopefully some of you are glad you came. So I know it's, I am thrilled to see all of you here. But again, make that time and that investment in yourself. Give of your time, your talents, and your resources. I was talking to an undergraduate student this morning at the fundraiser for the Museum of Glass, and we were talking about the VITA program, and he said, "Well, I wasn't really sure what to think about it, but you know, I showed up, and then I came back, and I think I'm going to do it again." And that was a wonderful way that you can use your training to help people in the community. You know, for all of us, maybe numbers aren't so scary, but for a lot of people, it's very daunting. And so to be able to help them through that, to give them the strength to understand, one, that their taxes are right, but to help them through that and help them in a way that it helps this community. It brings dollars back into this community. It creates a stronger community. So that was really exciting to hear. Give to programs that have meaning, whether it's cancer research or education, nonprofits, the arts. Have it be something that matters to you or to someone else you know, but take the time to give. You can always give blood. I think you heard word the Red Cross. There are opportunities. Give to the food bank, the food pantries. There are ways to actually help the community. Do those little things and make time for that. It will help you as you really continue to feel like you are invested in yourself and the community. Invest in family. My family's been my North Star. My husband and I met because I went to work for Weyerhaeuser. So if I'd gone to one of those accounting firms, life might be really different. So, and as parents, we have made investments in our children's lives, their education. We've been honest with them, telling them not everyone gets a trophy. Also helping them understand how you treat people matters. All that's kind of paid off. Now, neither one of them went into accounting. That's okay. But our daughter now is an ICU nurse, and our son actually works on medical devices. So they chose spaces where they were passionate about. And hopefully you're all sitting here today because this is your passion. And what I would say to you, if accounting, as you get into it, it is a platform where you can go anywhere. Look at Dean Merchant. You know, I mean, I love the stories. The number of stories I have of people who started out as an accountant or whose training was accountant, because you have the keys to the kingdom. You understand the financial information. You have the ability to really help people understand how to manage their business, how to ensure compliance, how to make sure you're stewards of the public's money if you're working for a public agency. Those are really incredible gifts. Use them. So I know I'm standing here, my bio was a lot about the roles I've had and volunteer activity, but most importantly, I'm so much more than my role. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. My title is not what defines me. So with that, develop a mentality of gratitude. And I think there's a theme here that you're going to continue to hear. Just simply be grateful. And don't let anyone feel invisible. Adopt a belief that everyone matters, and sometimes you have to give grace. If you're experiencing conflict with someone, oftentimes you don't know what's going on in their life. And you really can't turn it off when you're at work. So just back to that perspective part, understand, give people grace, and sometimes I say don't take it personally. Now, it may be apparent that I'm a bit of an extrovert, and that works for me. Except for in an elevator. Nobody is an extrovert in an elevator. But that's not a prerequisite to leadership roles. And I think, hopefully what I've shared with you here today is intended to inspire you to lean into your superpowers. Develop your unique style, and I want to encourage you to take a holistic approach to your development. You've got the foundation with the technical skills. Continue the journey with developing your whole self. Be authentic. Lean into who you are. And so I'm back to what I hope you walk away with. One, that I was funny, because that will make my mother happy, and by the way, she is here today. But don't take yourself too seriously. Don't let others define your limits. You are limitless. Make those investments that matter. Develop a mentality of gratitude and give yourself and others grace. And find a way to say yes. Good leaders might get things done. Great leaders make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. You were funny, and words to live by, too. Thank you. And thanks, Mom, for attending to support her, too. We're going to move forward, and so the next part, each year, the students get to choose a student speaker to represent their class. And so they have voted wisely this year again. And the student that I will introduce definitely embodies the character and personality and commitment to a sense of community and fun that this class has had. And also, I am the faculty advisor to the Accounting Student Association, and this student served as a graduate junior senator for much of this year as well, and had great input on the events and helped us. And so just a real sense of giving from this gentleman. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Jakey Rajpal.
Thank you, Professor, for such a nice words. Good evening, everyone. First of all, wow. Standing here in front of faculty, family, friends, and my fellow graduates, it feels like a dream come true. I'm honored to represent this incredible class of future CPAs, CFOs, controllers, data analysts, and let's be honest, Excel power users. This is a little terrifying too, because I know I only have about 10 minutes before your phones come out and you start Googling how to fake a smile for someone who talks too much. Sorry.
But I'll try to keep it short, meaningful, and mildly entertaining. So my journey started all the way from Pakistan. I completed my bachelor's there, earned my ACCA from UK, and then like many of us, I had a thought, where I thought that some people chase dream. I chased clean audit trails and perfectly matched journal entries. That's when I knew this heart beats for accounting. Master's degree, here I come. So I pursue my master's in the US. So I decided to pursue my master's in the US. While looking for the right program, I was lucky to have a guidance from a good friend and UWT graduate, Sundar. Who gave me the real insights into this program, the faculty, and the culture. I applied to 5 universities in the US, but University of Washington, Tacoma stood out. It was affordable and had a STEM focus, and more importantly, it felt real. Being part of the UW system added strong academic credibility, and I was impressed to see UWT alumni works at a big name like Microsoft, Amazon, and Boeing. It gave me the confidence that this program could open real doors. And when I received the email saying, "Congratulations, you have been admitted," I celebrated so hard that I'm sure that back then in Pakistan, my neighbors heard me. I still remember the Zoom call with Professor Arindam. Even before I came to the US, he asked thoughtful questions that made me feel seen, not just as an applicant, but as a future part of this community. Later, once I was here, I had a chance to visit a job fair with my classmate and a good friend, Naga. That's when Professor Arindam gave me superb advice and amazing, I would say, that, it's not just about resumes or handshakes, but also about how to stand and smile confidently. That's what I'm doing, I guess. Okay. So throughout the program, he remained a steady and supportive presence. Thank you, Professor, for making sure I didn't show up at the job fair looking like I was posing for a DMV photo. Okay. And then there's Karen. Where do I even start? She's truly been the heart and soul of support for so many of us. Whether it was celebrating our milestones or simply being there with a warm smile, Karen made every interaction feel personal and genuine. I'll never forget that moment when I shared my engagement news at TGIF. She literally jumped with joy and happiness, and she gave me the warmest hug that time. In that moment, it felt like mom is celebrating for her child's happiness. Karen, thank you for being that kind of light in our journey. Your kindness, enthusiasm, and unwavering support meant the world to us. UWT gave me more than just education. It gave me opportunities. Yes, I got to work as an accounting tutor with Jasmine. We had so many meaningful conversations, especially about how beautiful Pakistan is. Since I'm from Pakistan, so I have to talk about something Pakistan. Okay, coming back to the speech. So, and yes, I'm still trying to convince few of you to visit Pakistan. Okay, I also worked in the DRS office with Victor, which was such a fulfilling experience. Even though most people still don't believe that I had 2 jobs on campus. But yes, folks, I wasn't just here for free food. And let's not forget, I was honored to be a Milgard Scholar. Big shout out to the scholarship team for investing in students like me. Your support meant more than you know more than you know. Now let's talk about some funny moments, because accounting can be little dry unless you throw in some cage-free eggs. Yes, in our business law class, we literally brought actual eggs in the class to distinguish between caged versus cage-free eggs in a commerce clause case. Somewhere in the Constitution, our founding fathers must be smiling or confused. I'll never forget standing in the class and yelling, "I object," while pretending to be a lawyer and looking at my classmates like, did that sound professional or more like Judge Judy? Okay, either way, thank you, Professor Derek, for making law feel less intimidating and a lot more fun. I also got a chance to teach in SAP class. Thank you, Professor Arindam, for giving me this opportunity. Yes, me teaching. Okay, so I applied the leadership skills, which I got from the Karen's class, and somehow managed not to crash the system, because SAP didn't stand for sorry, all pages gone under my watch. Okay, so one of the biggest lessons I have learned during this program is helping others grow never diminishes your light. In fact, it makes you shine even brighter. Whether it was working with classmates on projects, mentoring someone through a tough exam, or offering a good cup of coffee, you realize we rise by lifting others. And speaking of lifting, some of us lifted the entire group assignments. You know who you are, no judgment, just gentle accountant accountability. Yeah. One of the most beautiful things about UWT is that it truly upholds the value of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As an international student, I never felt like an outsider. I always felt like I belonged. And that is not something every institution can say. Outside of classes, TGIF at 7Cs was where the real networking happened. We were not just sharing stories, we were creating memories. And hopefully, none of us will see that on Instagram. Okay. And my involvement, as Professor Gary Weir said, and my involvement in the as Accounting Student Association as senator was one of the best parts of the time here. Thank you to our amazing ex-president, Asiana, and Professor Gary Weirs, our advisor. Professor Gary, your costing class was a whole vibe. We learned costing with dedication, clarity, fun, and yes, spreadsheets that helps us most of the time, even in our exams. Don't tell anyone. And as we step into the next chapter, we are not, I want to tell you something very important. We are not just accountants, we are future leaders. We are change makers and future CFOs. And I believe the only people who will use calculator on their iPhones. Before I wrap up, on behalf of my fellow graduates, I want to sincerely thank Dean Merchant, our families, friends, faculty, and employers who have supported us throughout the journey. A special thanks to my parents, Engineer Ashok Kumar Rajpal and Pooja, my sister, Monica, and my fiancée, Priyanka. A big shout out to my sister, Dr. Murk Rani, who flew all the way from Georgia just to be here today. Thank you. And it's still going on. Thank you for the clapping though. And to all the loved ones who are watching us online through the live broadcast. So we might be the ones wearing the gowns, but honestly, you have been the real MVPs behind the scene. To my fellow graduates, This degree, I don't have it yet, okay. This degree isn't just a piece of paper. It's a symbol of late nights, early mornings, group chats that turned into therapy sessions, and the unshakable belief that we could do this. And guess what? We made it. Yes, we made it. Congratulations, class of 2025. Thank you, University of Washington, Tacoma. Thank you.
I told you he was good, didn't I? All right. Now, for the moment you've all waited for, we're actually going to start the hooding ceremony, the official part of the program. So if we can have the students prepare for that and come on up, we will start that. I will call my fellow faculty, Dr. Tripate and Joan Wu, up to assist. Yep. First, we have Kitty Young, undergrad degree from Central Washington University. Next, we have Justicia Hackney, undergrad degree right here from UW Tacoma. Yini Truong, undergrad degree, University of Washington, Tacoma. Samantha Worcester, undergrad degree here at UW Tacoma. Perla Maria Ruvalcaba, UW Tacoma. Anshuman Sindwani. Andrew Chang, undergrad, University of Washington, Tacoma. Brandon Yoshi Stymack, UW Tacoma. Trisha Sheeman, UW Tacoma. Lydia McElroy, undergrad, University of Phoenix. Matthew Knopfsiger, George Fox University. Rachel Jolly, UW Tacoma. Just your first name. Right. Heiko Grant. Nguyen Huynh. Yulia Yurchuk. Nissan Nicholas. Sierra Larson. Elisha Miller. Alexander Hard. Brianna Trin. Gopi Venkayalapati. Just Venkat. Yep. Venkat Pangaluri. Shivani Golecha. Aradhana Ghosh. Nancy Corona Aguilar. Deepali Goel. Shika Maheshwari. Riha Parmar. Muhammad Ali Faizan. Philman Van Lian Thong. Naya Mittal. Shrike Sanjay Lahote. Srujan Horabailu Jagadish. Nirant Vartakave. Al Shefan Salim. Mohammed Musa Paracha. Jakey Rajpal. Karishma Menon. Anisha Paul. Nagaraju Ketavath. J. Narendra Samant. Snehal Kogta. Mahmoud Asiki. Soumya Gupta. Syed Asim Sadat. Vineet Deepak Oswald. Ashutosh Sharma. Saurabh Pravin Oswal. All right, let's have another big round of applause for our 2025 graduating Master of Science in Accounting students. You guys did it. So very proud of you. Thank you so much for the assistance from Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Wu, and Brian. And so now we will move forward with our BGS ceremony, which I will let Karen and Jasmine explain further to you.
All right, we are going to Jasmine, where are you? Okay, we're going to be presenting our candidates for membership in Beta Gamma Sigma. And I would like Jasmine Manga, who is our manager of the Accounting Hub, on stage here. She is going to do the induction, and Professor Beers and I are going to put the cords and the pin. So Jasmine?
Welcome, members and guests of UW Tacoma chapter of Beta Gamma Sigma. Beta Gamma Sigma is an international honor society for business students at AACSB accredited schools who have excelled academically. Membership is offered by invitation only to students who have distinguished themselves academically in the field of business. Only a small percentage of our business students are recognized with this honor each year. Please come to stage when your name is called. You will receive a certificate, a cord, and a pin. I also request you to please stay on stage till the end of the ceremony. Andrew Chang. Christopher Thomas Frazier. Dipali Goyal. Justicia Hackney. Nguyen Nguyen. Mohan Adityavir Kumtanani. Matthew Nofziger. Saurabh Pravin Oswal. Ni San Nicholas. Patricia Nicole Sheeman. Brandon Yoshi Stymack. Narant Vartakavi. And Kitty Nguyen. The mission of Beta Gamma Sigma is to encourage and honor academic achievement and personal excellence in the field of business. In addition to recognizing what you have already achieved, this membership brings with it responsibility for the future. As Beta Gamma Sigma members, you will be asked to strive for excellence in your career and your life. You will also be asked to support the advancement of business and commit yourself to lifelong learning. The name Beta Gamma Sigma comes from the initials of 3 Greek words that define principles of society. Beta is the first letter of the Greek word bebeos, which means honor. Gamma is the first letter of the word gnosis, which means wisdom. And sigma is the first letter of the word supude, which means sincerity. I'm going to describe the principles of honor, wisdom, and sincerity, and then ask our new members to make a commitment to them. The first principle is honor. Honor signifies personal integrity and high ethical standards, which are qualities of every true leader. As business, you will be faced by conflicting goals and enormous pressures. At times, it may be difficult to distinguish right from wrong, but honorable people must do what is right, even in the face of adversity. Honor encourages service, responsibility, and altruism. Members of Beta Gamma Sigma seek to act honorably at all times so they can serve examples for others. The second principle is wisdom. Wisdom is more than knowledge. It represents open-mindedness, judgment, and experience. In your careers, you will be confronted with a flood of information. Wisdom will help you pay attention to the right things, interpret them correctly, and take appropriate action. Wisdom means constantly seeking new knowledge and being prepared to adapt to change. Wise people are aware of their talents and achievements, but also acknowledge their own limitations. They are quick to recognize that they rely upon others, and they are grateful for the support of their friends, family, and mentors. The third principle is sincerity. Without sincerity, honor and wisdom are nothing but good intentions. Sincerity represents hard work and courage, as well as enthusiasm and perseverance. It allows you to see problems as opportunities and turn weaknesses into strengths. Sincerity generates progress and inspires others to overcome the obstacles they face. The greatest achievements of our society result from being a blend of honor, wisdom, and sincerity. Each of you have been given many talents, and therefore much is expected of you. As you graduate and embark on a new phase of your life, allow these 3 guiding principles of Beta Gamma Sigma to inspire you. Each of you can make a real difference in your community and your nation. Do you accept the principles of wisdom, honor, and sincerity as your own? If so, please answer, I do. In recognition of your accomplishments and your acceptance of these principles, each of you have been presented with a Beta Gamma Sigma certificate, pin, and honor cord to be worn at graduation. Wear them proudly as symbols of principles of wisdom, honor, and sincerity. Please join me in congratulating the newest members of UW Tacoma's chapter of Beta Gamma Sigma. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Milgard School of Business, thank you for the privilege of being included in your academic journey. You are now part of the Milgard family, and we encourage you to stay connected by attending a TGIF, becoming a mentor, engaging with the Accounting Hub, or in one of our many alumni events. We look forward to hearing where your journey takes you next. Graduates, please stand. It is my honor to present to you the Master of Science in Accounting graduates for 2025. We ask that the audience stay seated while the graduates and faculty process out of the auditorium. Thank you.